Today we are talking about some strategies to help autistic people navigate Thanksgiving, so please stick around. Hi friends, my name is Claire and this is my channel, Woodshed Theory. Here, I make content about what it is like to live as an adult on the autism spectrum and whatever else feels good to me. So if that sounds good to you, or if you're feeling particularly gracious today, and I hope that you are, please go ahead and click the subscribe button, ring the bell. I almost forgot to mention that sometimes I put out more than one video a week, so click the like and the share. Help us get to 10K before the end of the year. We're only 600 away. I think we could do it. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. At the time of filming, we're just about a week out from a holiday that many people celebrate. I think if you asked most people, they would have a favorable view of Thanksgiving. I'm not here to say that autistic people can't also enjoy a positive experience on a holiday like Thanksgiving, but it does come with its challenges. There are a lot of different sensory issues and needs that should be addressed, and I wanted to go over a few of those today so that we can have the most positive experience possible. So here are 10 strategies for you to consider before going into Thanksgiving that might help you have a better experience. Number 1, boundaries are okay and boundaries are important. Many times autistic people struggle to set healthy boundaries in their lives, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't set them or that they aren't helpful for us. Basically, what I wanted to say about this is it's okay for an autistic person to say no to celebrating a holiday. It's okay for an autistic person to say no in partaking in a certain tradition that might make them feel uncomfortable. Now, I understand that this may be very difficult for some people because of familial expectations. Some of you are watching right now and thinking to yourself, that advice doesn't help me at all because if I don't show up for Thanksgiving, my mother is going to kill me, disown me, whatever. I still think it's important to go over because if it really is going to be that difficult for you to spend time in a toxic environment or an environment where you don't feel comfortable, an environment that you know you're going to have a meltdown in, is it really worth it? I just think it's something to consider. Yes, you do run the risk of offending someone, but I believe that's where communication comes into play. And that's where we come to number 2, setting expectations early. So we need to be reaching out to our family members, whether you're holding the Thanksgiving meal in your own home or in somebody else's home, reaching out to those people, the family members that are going to be involved, and letting them know what you need to make it a successful venture for yourself. So if you're not planning on going because of your sensory needs, make sure you're calling your mother ahead of time and not just answering a text message to, "Where are you?" Communication is so important in relationships, and it's something that we struggle with on the autism spectrum. So however you feel most comfortable communicating with your loved ones about your needs, what you expect, what their expectations are, that's going to help you immensely. Communicate early and often. For example, a big communication issue that I've had in my life when we do go out to other people's homes for a Thanksgiving meal is setting the expectation of how long I have energy to stay in that situation. So if you're going to somebody else's home with a group of people, they might have an expectation that you are staying for 6 to 8 hours. And maybe you're only okay with, sensory-wise, staying for 4. So when that 4 hours rolls around and you start wanting to leave and they're getting upset and then you're getting upset, those things I believe can be mitigated if you have that conversation early. So setting clear expectations and communicating that with your party. Number 3, allow yourself, I know this is going to be hard for some people, to lower expectations on yourself. I know this is going to sound crazy, but Thanksgiving isn't all about you. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know that holidays aren't all about me. I, as an autistic person, tend to see the world from the inside out. And I put an expectation on myself that if I don't present or do things in a certain way, that I am going to ruin everyone else's experience. And since my diagnosis, I've been able to really cut back on those expectations on myself. This can look like needing to bring a homemade dish, needing to bring a gift for someone, needing to have conversations throughout the day that you don't want to have. These are all things in the past that I had high expectations for myself. I would stress myself out. So by the time I showed up to Thanksgiving, I was already halfway to being overstimulated. Now, if I don't bring anything to the meal or a gift to the meal, or I don't have as many conversations as I thought I would have, I don't do things the way that I thought that they would happen, that's fine. You know, usually the people you're with are just happy that you're there. And if they're not understanding about your needs as an autistic person, well, it's only a few hours a year. No, because then Christmas comes right next to it. All I'm saying is you're not going to ruin Thanksgiving if you're not doing things up to your own expectations. Thanksgiving is going to happen anyway, so let it go. If you don't bring a special dish, it's not going to ruin everyone else's Thanksgiving. So don't stress out about stuff like that. Number 4, it is so important to take sensory breaks, even if you don't think that you need them. I have been putting this into practice at gatherings recently. It's not something that I have always adopted, and it has made a major difference in the way that I am able to spend time with others. So I've reduced my expectation on myself that I will be with people for the entire time, and I make myself take sensory breaks, whether I think I need them or not. This can look like excusing yourself to go and use the restroom for 10 minutes, even if you're just sitting on the floor in there by yourself, taking some deep breaths. Going out to check something in the car and taking 10 or 20 minutes by yourself in the car, just scrolling through your phone. Maybe there is a room in the house that you're in that you can kind of step aside and just take a bit of a sensory break there. It is so important to remove yourself from a situation and refresh yourself, refresh your sensory needs. It's not bad to take a small break. Heck, if you need to take a long break, it's not bad to take those breaks either. Just before you go into your Thanksgiving experience, identify where those times and places that breaks can happen are, and don't get down on yourself for needing to take those breaks. 5, providing your own safe food and safe drink if necessary. Now, hopefully you've communicated with the people who are hosting the event, if it's not you, what will be served. Now, if you're serving your own food, then you can obviously have the food that you're like. But many people on the autism spectrum have sensory issues around food and beverage. There's a lot of different foods that we eat on Thanksgiving that we don't eat during other times of the year, which means different smells, etc. If you know that that's not going to work for you, it's okay to bring a dish that you know will work for you. I don't think it's offensive at all. Just bring enough for everyone or at least half of people so that they know that you're okay with sharing the dish. Also, don't feel the need to put everything on your plate if you're not going to eat it. If the only thing that is okay for you to eat for the entire Thanksgiving meal is mashed potatoes, then you can just put mashed potatoes on your plate. If you feel like you can't do that because somebody's gonna say something and make you feel awkward, it's okay to put a little bit of things on your plate and then not eat them. Usually no one will notice, but put your sensory needs when it comes to food and drinks first. So if you need to plan ahead to make that happen, that's fine. If you need to make adjustments while you're there, that's also fine. 6, this one is one of my favorites. Plan your script. Plan your I am thankful for script. Many families, many friend groups do the I am thankful for round table chat before they eat Thanksgiving dinner or after. A lot of families don't, but many families do. Knowing this, you don't need to wait until the moment before it's going to happen for you to plan what you're going to say. Even if you're heading into Thanksgiving thinking, I'm going to say, I am so grateful for the good year that I've had, and I'm so grateful for my family. That's what I'm thankful for. Then you've already have it planned. You don't need to worry about it when it comes up, and then you're panicking because of your slow processing, and you don't know what to say, and will this be good enough? Just get a good enough script together if it happens. 7, dress in what makes you comfortable. Now this can be hard too because I know that there are some family members out there who might want you to dress or look a certain way on Thanksgiving, but normally people are pretty okay with people being comfortable on Thanksgiving in my experience. So if that means that you're gonna wear yoga pants, wear yoga pants. I would suggest if you're going to someone else's home to wear layers because you can't really always guess what the weather or temperature is going to be in somebody else's home. So it might be a good idea to have a few layers on so that you could put them on or take them off depending on your sensory needs. 8, ear protection. I know that many families who celebrate Thanksgiving, they sometimes watch sports or parades. If you have a large family, things can get pretty noisy. So if you feel like you might need ear protection, even if you're wondering, will I need it? Will I be okay? Just bring it anyway. You can always just have, earplugs in your pocket or keep them in your bag so that if those needs do arise where you feel like, I'm starting to become overstimulated by this noise, it's okay to sneak off to the restroom and put in the earplugs. Does that mean you have to announce it to everyone? No. If somebody notices and says something, just let them know that it's a little bit loud and it's a bit overwhelming for you. But it doesn't have to be a big conversation. Tell them it just dampens some of the background noise so that you could pay better attention to what they're saying, and they should probably let it go. 9. You don't need to talk about autism if you don't want to. I know that this is a struggle for people, especially who are late diagnosed, because you don't know what the expectation is of, what if my family brings it up? What if they start talking about how I don't have autism? What if they start asking me questions about it? Or what if they don't say anything at all? What are they thinking? If you want to talk about your autism diagnosis, if you're okay with that, go ahead and talk about it, but don't feel pressured into disclosing your autism diagnosis. And I would even suggest that family gatherings might not be the best place to bring it up for the first time. If somebody else brings it up and you don't want to talk about your autism diagnosis with them, you can really shut the conversation down by just saying, oh yeah, I was diagnosed with autism, and then move on. If they kept pressing the subject, especially in front of other people, it's okay to say, I don't really want to talk about that right now, but I'd love to talk to you about it privately another time. But I've found that a lot of times people don't want to bring it up because they don't know how you feel about it. So if you're not ready to bring it up or talk about it, you don't need to feel pressure about that. And you don't need to worry about what other people are thinking. Like, do they know I'm autistic? Are they judging me? If they are judging you, that is their problem. People always underestimate people who are on the autism spectrum, and they shouldn't. If they're wasting their Thanksgiving being concerned about the fact that you've been diagnosed with autism or the fact that you're autistic, instead of enjoying their time with you and enjoying their time with their family, enjoying the food, that is their issue. And you know what? You can't control what everyone thinks about you. I know that it can be difficult because you want your family to like you and respect you, but sometimes that isn't the reality of the situation. In general, you don't need to bring it up if you don't want to. If it does come up, you can stop the conversation. And if you're worried that people are judging you for the things that you do, just know that normally people are in their own worlds. They're not considering you. And if they are considering you and they do care about you, they're not going to bring it up in front of other people. They may pull you aside to have a conversation with you. But again, you can shut the conversation down if you want to and say, can we talk about this another time? Or I don't feel comfortable talking about this. You're allowed to do that. Number 10, my personal favorite. As you may or may not know, autistic people have social differences, and we definitely struggle with social fatigue, both before and after an event. Before the event, you're feeling pretty nervous. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're going to say. And then after the event, you're feeling tired because maybe you have felt that you've had to mask through the situation or act a certain way or do something a certain way. Hopefully with the tips we've talked about, you don't feel like as much that you had to do that. But still, after any of these situations, Thanksgiving, Christmas, before these situations, personally, I need to make sure that I'm resting. So that means planning ahead and making sure that I don't leave everything that needs to get done until the few hours before or the day before. Planning things out to make sure I can get rest and alone time and processing time both before and after holidays makes a huge difference. So those were my 10 strategies to help you tackle Thanksgiving with your family and have a successful day. If you have other strategies that have been helpful for you that you'd like to share in the comments, I know that our community would really appreciate them. What was the strategy that resonated most with you? I'd love to hear personally what you do at your Thanksgiving that helps you function better. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys!